Yeah, hello, this is Dave from cheapbooks.com playing World of Tanks. The tank is a Matilda 4. This is a Russian Tier 5 medium tank. And the map is Ruinberg, but it's also known as Winterberg. First of all, this is a British tank. And it was supplied to the Russians during World War II. I think that the boat sank or something like that, and they never got the tanks. I don't remember. But it's a pretty good tank. It's a medium tank. It doesn't drive very quickly, but it's got excellent armor, and it's got a great gun on it. So I love playing the tank, and I tend to get a lot of kills when I play this tank. Now, one thing you're going to notice about this map, look at where I am on the mini-map. You'll see I'm at the center of the map. And if you watch my videos, you'll know that I love to play at the center of the map on almost every map. It lets you shoot at tanks in all directions. However, they can also shoot at you from all directions. You have to be very careful. On this particular map, I choose this location, either the bushes over to my right or the bush that I'm in right now. You'll see that there's more bushes on the north team and less bushes on the south team. The reason why I chose this bush is because I've got good cover from the right. I can shoot at tanks down the alley here, and they won't be able to see me. On the left side, you've got a slope of a hill, so people who are on the left cannot shoot at you, except if they're in specific positions. You can look at the mini-map, and you can see that only a portion of the tanks can hit you. If you roll back to the bush behind you, they won't be able to. The other reason why is because you can hit all the tanks that come up this road, all the fast tanks that come up here at the beginning of the game. A lot of them will stop at this pile of rubble that you see in the middle of the screen. And if you look at the spawn on the mini-map, you'll see the number 1 in red. It's behind this house over here. The slow tanks will drive into town, and they have to cross over this gap over here. So you'll be able to shoot a lot of tanks as they cross over the gap early in the game. So that's why I like this location right here, and even on the other side.
Ready to fire.
And I never travel down this area. What this KV-1 is doing is very dangerous, and the reason why it looks like he's very safe. However, the enemy team is very likely to control these buildings over here, and if they see that tank over here, they will shoot at him. I've had lots of problems. When I tried to sit over here, I got a lot of fire. You know, it's called crossfire. Took a lot of fire from buildings in this area, and I did not have a high survivability over here.
Enemy is hit. I don't see the target.
Okay, so I got one hit on that tank that was crossing over. One of the disadvantages is that if you look in the mini-map, you'll see that there's tanks over here. You can't shoot at them from this position. Even if you roll forward, you probably will not be able to shoot at them, even if they're in the road. So they could be in the middle of the road driving across the street, and if you roll forward into the road, you might not be able to hit them. However, if they cross over and go to your back area, for example, where this M3 Lee is, you can hit all over here. So once they leave the town and advance, you will be able to hit them. I think there are places where they can hide. I think that there are slopes that they can get behind. You do have to be wary about artillery. There's 2 artilleries in the game. After you're spotted, you want to roll backwards to avoid artillery. However, since artillery is in that direction, they can still aim at you while you're moving backwards. So what you want to really do is move diagonally or horizontally like this, heading towards those buildings and across and heading towards the other buildings. It's east to west. When you do that, it's very difficult for artillery to aim, because what will happen is as they move across, they have to turn their tank to re-aim, and then they go out of aim. If you play artillery, you'll see what I mean. You can see an example where there's a tank there and I can't hit him. And this KV-1, I don't like what he did because he's preventing the enemy from coming out into the open. So I can't shoot at the enemy because they're afraid of him. They know he's there. And I'm well hidden. As you can see, when the KV-1 moved, this tank came out in the open because he thought that he could. But he doesn't know that I'm here, so I actually have the ability to sneak up on him.
Permission to engage. Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy armor is hit. Ricochet.
Obviously, this is with the auto-aim.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
You can see I've been playing with the regular rounds. It looks like I have 20, 20, and 20. Normally, I play with less than 20 high explosive rounds. Now, these guys know I'm here, so I got to reposition. I'm going for this guy's flank, this Hetzer over here. Hetzers are easy to kill. You just got to get around them.
Penetration. Enemy armor is destroyed.
He probably never knew I hit him. Well, obviously he knew he got hit. I'd also like to add I used the crew from my Tier 8 Russian medium tanks, so they have 3 or 4 crew skills. So I'm all decked out in terms of crew skills. The best way to get a shot on a tank is between the gap and the buildings, because through the gap you can hit a tank and you can use the buildings to block your tank. Looks like there's 2 tanks back here. When you come around the corner of a building, ideally you want to aim manually so that you can hit him as soon as you come around the corner. It looks like I hit the other tank there. You don't want to use the auto aim when you go around the corner of a building, because when you do, it waits to get to the center of the tank, and if he's doing the same thing, he'll be able to hit you back. If you do it manually, you can hit this part of his tank, and if he's doing it with the auto aim, he won't be able to hit you. So that's the reason why you want to shoot manually as you go around the corner. Now, the Matilda is a well-armored tank, so usually it's pretty safe. However, in general, you want to be aiming, you want to have your gun over the corner of the tank. This is not a good angle. This angle is more like this. You want it more like that. Having that angle gives you better protection. This is what they see. They see side armor. You want them to see an angle more like that. But like I said, there's a gap over here that I had to fit through, so I did the best I could. You can see that I'm tracked, and I was slow to use the repair kit. You can see that what I did was I aimed for the back of his tank, fired, got penetration, but it didn't kill him. But I also grabbed onto him with the auto aim. And the reason why I did that is because if he's not spotted anymore, well, maybe he is. Okay, he is. The reason why is because while I'm reloading, I can drive around, and if I see an opportunity to shoot at him with the auto aim, I'll do it.
Target unlocked. Enemy armor is hit. Penetration. Ready to fire.
So you can see that I hit him twice, and then I hit the auto aim because I repositioned my tank. So this way the gun is pointed right at him. People who don't listen to people who say don't use the auto aim. What I'm doing is my tank was angled towards these buildings. I'm going to rewind it so you can see what happened. And you cannot do this manually. You have to use the auto aim in order to do this trick. So I'm going to lock onto him. I didn't get the shot. I'm angled poorly right now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the auto aim, and when I turn my tank, my gun will always be pointed right at him. And then you can go into manual mode and your gun is already aimed. If you don't use the auto aim, you have to wait for your gun to spin around. Right now I'm going to reverse and change the angle of my tank. With the auto aim, I stay aimed at the enemy, ready to fire. With manual aim, you do not. With manual aim, my gun would be pointing in this direction at nothing. So this is an example of when you use the auto aim.
Enemy armor is damaged. Ready to fire.
You'll notice that I changed the angle of my tank so the gun is pointing over the corner of the tank. And I will show you what it looks like. That's the angle you get right there. It's not the absolute best angle, but it's actually pretty good. It gives you the best protection. Now you'll notice I aimed manually and I missed my shot. And while I was reloading, I used the auto aim to lock on to him. And I'm going to watch that green, the red triangle. If it turns into a green triangle, I'm going to shoot. But while I'm doing this, I'm also reversing. And I'm looking at this tank over here, and I'm watching this tank over here, who apparently died. And I'm zoomed out so I can check to see how can I maneuver behind this building. And you have to use the auto aim to do that. You cannot do it with a manual aim. You can see he became unspotted, so it's futile for me to try and find him. And I'm advancing to get behind the building to get some cover, because I am low on hit points. And I'm trying to come in it from a different direction so he doesn't know where I'm going to come from.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
That was a very lucky shot. I wasn't. I just randomly aimed at that. Okay, so I got 5 kills. It was a Matilda 4. It's a Russian Tier 5 medium tank. I'm going to talk a little bit about this tank. This is a wonderful tank. I love to play it. It was one of the first tanks that I bought. I probably had it 2 weeks after I started playing World of Tanks. It's inexpensive. It might be $15. It's better to pay using gold. Buy a large quantity of gold, like $100 worth of gold, and buy it using the gold. You can do the calculations, and you'll see that it's usually cheaper to pay using gold. Obviously, you want to always buy things when they're on a discount. The tank is slow, so when you get to battle, some of the enemies will already be spotted, and they'll have already taken some damage, so you'll get a lot more kills as opposed to having a fast tank where you're at the front lines and you don't know where the enemy is, they haven't been spotted, they still have their full health. So you'll get more kills with the Matilda. I get 5 kill games all the time. When I roll this tank out, I expect to kill a lot of tanks, especially if I'm on the top. You'll see I'm number 2 for my team in terms of the ranking. It has a rapid fire gun. Usually you can get around with doing the regular ammo, but I use gold ammo when I want to get the kill or when I'm on low health. On almost every tank I use a small repair kit and a large repair kit. And I've been using the large first aid kit. Before I used to use a large fire extinguisher. But the reason why I use a first aid kit is because I'm more likely to get an injured crew member than fire to my tank. So I use the first aid kit. However, there is a problem when you don't have the fire extinguisher. You can lose your tank in one shot. But obviously it happens less often. So that's the reason why I switched to the first aid kit. I would say I use it every couple of games. And I use the camouflage because I'm usually on the front lines and I hide a lot. I'm always hiding in bushes. You saw me hiding in the beginning of this game. I use camo for my crew as much as possible. However, as my crew becomes more mature, when they all get camo and they all get repairs and you get jack of all trades, you can start to make changes to how you equip your tanks. I always use coated optics. You can use a tank gun rammer. You don't really need it for Matilda because it's a rapid fire gun anyway. There's other options, but like I said, when you train your crew members, you can change the equipment that you bring with you. Okay, so that's the Matilda 4. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.